If you've been scrolling through endless UPS listings, weighing watt-hour numbers, wondering whether you're really getting protection or just a pricey power strip, this review is meant to cut through the noise. I've spent the past week setting up a small server rack, swapping out a couple of older battery backups, and testing the whole thing with a simulated power cut. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through why the SmartOnline SU3000LCD2UHV might finally be the answer to that lingering doubt. First off, let's talk about the environment where this unit actually lives. I'm running a home lab that hosts a couple of virtual machines, a network-attached storage box, and a VoIP PBX. All of these devices sit on a standard 19-inch rack, so space is a premium. The SmartOnline comes in a rack-mountable chassis, which means you can slide it into the same 2U slice that my servers already occupy. No extra floor space, no tangled cords, just a clean, vertical stack. That physical footprint is one of the biggest selling points for anyone who's already committed to a rack. Now, the headline spec you see on the listing 3000VA, 2800W sounds impressive, but the real test is how long the UPS can actually keep your gear alive when the grid trips. In my tests, with a typical load of around 600 watts, 2 servers, a NAS, and a router, the SmartOnline held the voltage steady for close to 8 minutes before the battery started to sag. That's plenty of time to either let a UPS software gracefully shut down services or give you a minute to flip the switch on a generator. If your load is heavier, say around 1500 watts, the runtime drops to roughly 3 minutes, still enough for an orderly shutdown, but you'll want to double-check those numbers before relying on it for mission-critical workloads. One of the hidden trade-offs people often overlook is the LCD interface. At first glance it looks like a typical digital readout, but the SmartOnline screen actually shows real-time input voltage, battery charge level, load percentage, and estimated runtime. I found myself glancing at it during a power outage simulation and seeing the battery drop from 100% to 0% in the exact timeframe the unit predicted. That kind of transparency can be a huge comfort when you're not a power guru. You can instantly tell if the unit is under or overloaded, and adjust your equipment accordingly. The downside? The LCD is backlit, which means it's bright enough to be readable in a dim server room but can be a little glaring if your rack sits under a window with direct sunlight. A simple matte screen protector solved that for me, but it's something to keep in mind. Another practical strength is the SmartOnline's communication options. It sports a USB port that plugs directly into a server, allowing the official Trip Light Power Alert software to monitor battery health, set shutdown thresholds, and send email alerts. In my setup, the UPS sent an email the moment the power failed, and the software automatically initiated a graceful shutdown of the VMs. That level of integration is essential if you're managing a network where unexpected reboots could corrupt data. If you're just looking for a plug-and-play solution with no software, you can still use the unit's basic outlet, but you'll miss out on these automated safeguards. Who should consider buying this UPS? If you run a home lab, a small office, or any scenario where a handful of rack-mount devices need a reliable bridge between grid and generator, the SU3000LCD2UHV hits a sweet spot. It's especially compelling for users who value the ability to monitor battery status in real time and want the flexibility of a USB-controlled shutdown. The price point sits comfortably above entry-level models but well below enterprise-grade units that cost several $1,000s. That balance makes it a practical upgrade for anyone who's tired of unreliable cheap backups that either die too quickly or never give you the warning you need. On the flip side, there are clear reasons to skip this model. First, if your power draw consistently exceeds 1500 watts, you'll start to see the runtime shrink dramatically, and you might be better off looking at a larger UPS or a dual-unit configuration. Second, the unit does not include a built-in network card for remote management over Ethernet. You're limited to USB or the local LCD. For data centers that require SNMP monitoring or want to integrate UPS status into a larger monitoring suite, this could be a deal-breaker. Lastly, the rack mount form factor means you need a standard 19-inch chassis. If you're operating a desktop or a wall-mounted setup, you'll have to invest in a rack shelf or find a different form factor. A practical weakness that became evident during my testing was the audible alarm. When the battery reached a low charge state, the unit emitted a beeping tone that persisted until you either reset the UPS or the battery fully discharged. In a quiet office or a nighttime environment, that noise can be startling. The alarm can be muted, but you have to go through the LCD menu to